Hi, Facebook family. Hi, guys. Right, we wait for just a couple moments. Hello. Okay, just give it a couple more moments and we're gonna start. Hi, Keisha. Good night. Hello, good evening. All right. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing fine and fabulous. All right, welcome to another episode of Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. Right, guys? You know, if you celebrated a birthday last weekend, I know my nephew, Mikhail, celebrated a birthday. Happy belated birthday, Mikhail. And those that celebrated a birthday today or for the past weekend, happy birthday. Okay, so Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. We are going to talk a little bit about some topics. Hi, and I want you guys to join in. But I'll just give you our cause, right? We believe education enlightens dark paths, less traveled, and liberates a sense of hopelessness. We believe the safety and transparency illuminates and activates the true meaning of caring, sharing, unveils, and emancipate wholeness. Hi, Marsha. Thank you, Anthony. Our group sessions are designed to introduce a myth of information, life topic that surrounds individuals and our families, communities, and nation. Your contribution, you guys, in uplifting and supporting others in their struggle will be appreciated. Hi, Marsha. I assure that Motivational Monday with myself and Philia continue to provide the highest standard of service and comfort as our conversation exceeds our expectation. Achieving the highest quality remains our constant mission. Once again, if you have a topic that you would like to hear us bring to you guys, just send us an inbox message. These messages that I'm going to do tonight, it was someone who asked us to talk about it. So with that said, I am going to give you the word of the week. And the word of the week is interloper. A person who becomes involved in a place of situation where they are not wanted or are considered not to belong. So once again, the word of this week is interloper. A person who becomes involved in a place of situation where they are not wanted or considered not to belong. All right? Good night, Yolanda. So I'm going to give you a health topic for today, right? So my health topic for today, we are going to talk about air infection. Now remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm only reading from Google, so please, okay? So then first noted, yes. An air infection, sometimes called acute otitis media, is an infection of the middle ear. The air-filled space behind the eardrums that contains the tiny vibrating bones of the ear. Children are more likely than adults to get air infection. Air infection narrows tubes that runs from the middle ear to high in the back of the throat, can become swollen or blocked. This can lead to mucus buildup in the middle ear. The mucus can become infected and cause an ear infection symptoms. Because ear infection often clear up on their own, treatment may begin with managing pain and monitoring problems. Sometimes antibiotics are used to clear the infection. Some people are prone to having multiple ear infection. This can cause hearing problems and other serious complications. Hi, Donata. The onset of signs and symptoms of ear infection is usually rapid. Ear pain, especially when lying down, trigger or pulling on the ear, trouble sleeping, crying more than usual, fussiness, trouble hearing or responding to songs, loss of balance, fever over 100 or higher, drainage of fluid from the ear, headache, loss of appetite. This is children. Adults, ear pain, drainage or fluid from the ear, and problems hearing. When to see a doctor? Symptoms last for more than a day. Symptoms are present in child less than 6 months of age. Ear pain is severe. Your infant or toddler is sleepless or irritable after a cold or other upper respiratory infection. You observe a discharge of fluid, pus, or bodily fluid from the ear. So once again, this is our health tip for today, ear infection. All right? So we have Philia here.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good.
My hair matches your shirt.
Thank you.
Sorry, the devil's a liar. You know, I didn't have my phone. My son took my phone by accident to karate. I had no way to track them, and you know, it was a big uproar. But everything is
okay with them.
Yeah.
All right, so you can pour a drink.
So much. I need a drink.
Yes. Yes, guys.
Yes.
So, Philia, nice to have you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You know, it's always good to have you on Motivational Monday.
Yes.
You know, we you know how it goes here.
I know how it goes.
Yes.
All right.
So I hope everybody weekend was good. Mine was fantabulous. I had a wonderful time on Saturday.
I was taking care of an old man.
Yeah.
You know, jumping up and down on a boat ride, and you know he pulled his hamstring. So
Okay.
you know.
Yes. Keisha saying good night.
Good night, Keisha. How are you? Okay.
right.
Yes. All right.
Is everybody seeing Philia? Hold on.
They can see me. I'm good.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
All right,
good.
good. All right, so we're going to talk about a 3-part topic today.
Yes.
And the first one will be, well, I'll give it a 3 and then we'll go through them as we normally do, right? The first one will be, why do we allow misunderstanding to go on instead of solving the problem? Okay. That is number 1. Thanks to Donata. Yes, Sunday vibes was nice. Yes. Philia miss out, but next time.
Sorry, Donata.
Yes. The next one, mistakes we make daily and how do we try to better ourselves.
Okay.
All right? And the last one I know is very important.
Right.
Is what do you do or how do you handle fathers and mothers that don't provide for their kids when the relationship has ended. Okay? So we could go, you know, a lot on that. All right?
Okay.
So let us deal now with mistakes we make daily and how do we better ourselves.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yes, I would love to go first. Okay, so in terms of the mistakes that we make daily, I think the first thing is acknowledgement and accountability. I think it's really important for you to be accountable for the things that you're doing, because if you can't take criticism or can't take constructive criticism, because you know it's very difficult to hear the truth, then how can you be able to grow from it? You know, so definitely is not being in denial about certain things about yourself, maybe things that people have pointed out, and then just making amends to try to make things better. You know, they always say, if you know better, you do better. So that is the start. Knowing is always half the battle, but what are you going to do to take the steps forward to better yourself?
Right. Anthony is saying no one wants to say sorry.
a lot of people don't say sorry. I think because sorry sometimes sounds like defeat, and people don't like to feel defeated. But I think it's important to look at the sorry as, okay, I didn't intentionally try to hurt your feelings, because sometimes people think it has malintent. But if you're not intentionally trying to hurt someone, you go like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I didn't know, but thank you for telling me. So the next time I'll make more of a concerted effort to do better or to do something differently. Right. So that's the way I approach the whole idea of sorry and bettering myself.
Okay, the most serious problem in the world is that people do not understand each other.
Right.
All right?
Misunderstanding clearly.
Right. A customer misread a policy. A colleague misrepresent a to-do. A couple clashes over misunderstanding of who was supposed to pick up the kids. Failure in communication takes place in various circumstances and conditions. At home, at work, between school and ethnic classes, between religions and nations, then they lead both to small complication or trouble in our daily life, right? And large-scale conflict between social groups and cultures. Okay. The significance of the problem was the reason I decided to do a bit of studying the cause of miscommunication. In trying to understand the mechanism of communication failures, I've been forced to go outside pure linguistic and discover what can learn from the studies, where the human being is taken as a conceivus?
Oh, a cognitive.
Cognitive.
Yeah, that's all knowledge.
Yeah, and societal creature.
Right.
The starting point of my thinking in the following diagram, which describe interaction as a circle rather than a liner, as it is usually understood. Okay. The biggest problem of humanity, not only on a global level, but even for individuals, is misunderstanding.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
The question is, how much damage will you do?
Right.
How will misunderstanding affect our fulfillment over our overall happiness? Right. Misunderstanding leads to issues.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And sometimes it may be something small that could blow up big.
Correct.
Right. Is misunderstanding the cause for most problems?
Yes.
I think so.
I think so, yes.
How can we overcome misunderstanding with other people? We need to understand the following if we want to avoid a misunderstanding with people from their point of views.
Right.
Because you remember, religion,
correct,
politics,
all of that,
right? People beliefs,
right.
So we have to know where to draw the lines.
Correct, right.
The goal is harmony.
Yes.
Productive communication. We are not looking to win or to prove right. It is important that we gain a new understanding.
Right.
That we express that I am seeking the harmony that once existed and get back to the productive communication. So productive communication, you would say, is like, example.
I'll give you an example. I think this is really an important topic because, for instance, just on a smaller scale, like my son and daughter, I have swimming at the same time the kids have karate. I don't want them to miss karate because I have swimming. So I put them in an Uber. But what happened was my daughter, who usually is the, I guess, the mediator, like if I'm not available, has also traveled. So she's in Florida and she's on the plane. So I told my son, I said, look, use my phone. I'm going to leave my phone with you. But when the cab comes, the Lyft will alert you. Leave my phone home so that I can have access to you once I come out of swimming. I can, find you with your location. I'll call the cab, whatever the case may be. He takes the phone. I come, I have no phone. So now I'm calling him. He already turned my phone off because he didn't want to disturb anything in karate, which I get, but he took the phone. So now I don't have a way of locating them. I have no way of finding their location. I have no way of calling a Lyft for him. So finally he turned on the phone. I said, look, find a way to come back home. I'm going to direct you how to do it in the Lyft. He's confused, obviously, right? So all in all, it caused a domino effect of me not being here, being frustrated, and then eventually my daughter landed and I said, handle this, I have a podcast to do, and I literally just left it. So hopefully they're fine. I believe they're fine. I think if there was a problem, I think she has your number.
Okay.
But either way, if not, they're at karate. It's just the miscommunication. That's what it is. Following instructions.
Yes.
Some people don't like to feel like they're stupid, or
Right.
if they don't understand something, they think that you judge them. So it could have been that maybe he didn't clearly understand my instructions, and he got afraid to say, "Mom, I didn't really understand what you said."
Yes.
I have to look at it that way. But there are adults who do the same thing. Now,
Right.
yes, he's only 12 years old, of course. But it was simple instructions: just leave my phone. That's it.
Right.
I didn't tell him to do
Sometimes
anything
it
else.
could have slipped him too. Maybe
Right.
if he was rushing out the house.
Yeah, he could have taken it.
Yeah.
Right. So
You know?
I think I was more frustrated, and what's
because you
interesting,
couldn't get in contact with him.
I couldn't get in contact with them. But it also leads to an underlying problem, because their father and I have been, having issues from since God knows how long. And last year we officially broke up. So he already wasn't prevalent, but now he really isn't prevalent now that we're not together. So it's like my frustration really comes out in the fact that you have a father who's a sergeant in the police department who has access to everything. If he was just here, I wouldn't even be stressed out about you guys going to karate. Why am I doing the karate, going to swimming, doing school? Like, it's so frustrating. So my frustration comes from, again, and that would be our third topic, which we talk about, which relationships. But it's like, it's a domino effect. It stems from one thing, and it goes into something else. So that's the reason why in relationships, when you don't resolve the issues and move on to the next, you carry that baggage in the same form of fashion. Now, this one has to do with my children, but it's still baggage because of their father.
Right.
And it's like I haven't really been able to separate the two.
Right.
Because it's like it's a derivative of the communication.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
yes.
I think that's 100% perfect.
And I think so too. And sometimes, just little things I might say, okay, I'm coming, and you might forget that I'm coming, or something like that.
Right. Very simple. Yes. Yes.
Or
very important.
call me later, and you're waiting, and then you'll say, well, I told you, I text you to call me,
right? And
you didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm missing something, right? Time and again, when we have had misunderstanding with someone, it's based in the fact that their perspective is different than mine, right? So again, that shows that it was a different perspective that your son had and with you, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we learn to look hard and discover and consider their perspective. So you could see, like me, I could see him thinking, oh, I have to go, and he take the phone by mistake, right? Which we do via the next step.
Right.
Value their strength and motives. It wasn't intentional.
Right. Correct.
You understand what I mean? What this person brings to the table, how they contribute to the world, what are their responsibilities for how does that affect their perspective. We should remind ourselves their talents, skills, right, and values to help them focus on them instead of us.
I love that. I want to give a perfect example of that. Now, skipping past children, now we're going to deal with adults to adults. But again, coming from relationships, I mean, Quan had a really bad breakup with his ex-fiance a year and a half ago.
Right.
I'm coming from my bad relationship, and we're meeting. Now, although we're a great couple, we still have baggage from these relationships, and sometimes they creep in to what's going on. So there was like a long period, there's no argument, no bickering, no nothing. And then it's like one day he comes and he's like, something must be up. Because I'm like, what? Because we not arguing? It's harmonious. It's okay. Sometimes just, like Keisha says, trust the process.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that some strife has to be happening. I was like, it's harmonious. Leave it alone. Like, don't bother it, right? But I think what happens is because in his previous relationship, when it was too quiet, she was having an affair.
Aggressor.
Correct, the aggressor. And then for me, when he was too quiet, he was also. So I think what happens is that we take that baggage and then we project it onto what's new. But you have to realize, 1, 2 different people, 2, not the same situation, and 3, talk it through.
Yes.
Let me know what's going on. How are you feeling about this? So if we push through, we know how it is being on the other side.
Right. Determine how they judge others.
Correct.
When seeking their perspective, we look at how they judge others in hopes of understanding them better. Some people make judgment based on a person or people's skill.
Correct.
Other problem solving talents or how well a person can persuade and influence others. How they judge is a key to how they see the world. I, for one, don't like to judge people, really. I might get a vibe that, I vibe people out. You know, sometimes I'll say, I just have a bad feeling about this person, right? But sometimes, again, good night, Shawnette, when I get to know the person, they grow on me.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
People just have to grow on
They
me.
do.
You understand?
Right.
I just don't get attached to people like that because I don't know what's your motive.
Correct.
So you have to ease up. You have to ease up. I had to see you. I had to see you. I like a cat.
Yes,
you know?
and consistency.
See, yes.
Because I agree that character, you can't hide it. You could pretend, but at some point it comes out. Right.
It comes
so
out.
At some point you see it, and that's why I think it's wonderful to always observe and don't
Yes.
just jump into things, right?
And I think Maya Angelou said it very well. A person show you who they are, that's who they are. You understand?
Absolutely.
Don't try to
When people
change
say, that's
them.
not me. It's
Yeah,
not me. I'm
Yeah.
like, right.
Right, it's just you. You know?
Right.
Or sometimes, you know, you have a person who bring down others.
Correct.
I don't like that. Because you never
Negative
know.
Nancy's.
Yes.
That's what they call them.
But the thing about it, you never know
Right.
a next person's situation either.
Correct,
You
right.
know, and they don't know your life history. They don't know your struggles. They don't know you.
Right.
So, you know, they're quick to judge.
Right.
You know,
Right,
so those people I just have no tolerance
Right.
for.
I
right?
agree. I agree.
What leads to the problem of misunderstanding? Each stage of the following interaction includes some risk of successful communication. The speaker wrongly interrupts reality, sees or hears what does not correspond to the truth.
Okay. I can see that. Go ahead.
Right? 2. The speaker tries to express a thought which is unclear to him or herself.
Right. And that's speaking out of term and not hearing.
Like today, I was trying to have a
understanding.
conversation with a certain individual, and I'm telling them X, Y, and Z is the situation, and they was like, "Well, what is that? Where is that? I ain't reached there yet. I don't know. I don't have that information. You know, gave me a chance to talk, and I get pissed off because you know what I say. You know, if people just listen,
Correct.
if people just listen,
Right.
they will understand. You understand? And I didn't finish my
Your
conversation.
thoughts, right. People finish
you
your
know?
sentences,
Yeah.
they're finishing
and
your
it pissed me
thoughts.
off because you know what? If you just listen, if I call you, Philia, you know,
Right.
so and so, don't say, okay, Phyllis, yeah,
Right.
okay, Philia, why you getting so excited? I ain't finished telling you what.
Well, you know, Stephen Covey always says, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Right.
Because that's where communication does not fall, you know,
Right.
falter.
The
Go ahead.
speaker is unable to express their desirable thought clearly enough. That was today. Okay? Listen. The speaker is in a low voice, pronounce unclearly, mumbles, swallows part of speech, etc., or make a slip of a tongue. That happens. Because sometimes this person is talking to me and I'd be like,
Right.
You understand?
Okay, so I have like a good example of this one, right? So I always say that out of all of my previous relationships, Quan is the only one that challenges me, right? He calls me out on all the BS.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but you know, I don't feel like I used to give issues in my relationship.
Right.
But he was like, you know, you don't let people finish talking, or, you know, you want to speak over me, or that's because you're an ELA teacher, you think you can articulate it, and stop speaking those words and
Yes.
speaking down. And I'm like, I didn't realize I was doing that.
Right.
So who knows if my previous, you know, relationships, that's what I used to do, but they
Right.
just did not, you know, they didn't bring it to my attention, and that could have been a turn off for them. So him bringing it up made me start to realize, wait a second, maybe I'm doing it. So I said, okay, I tell you what, when I'm doing it, say you're doing it again.
Okay.
It's like, you know, so that becomes now like a way to take accountability, you know, for the person's actions.
And this thought that I'm thinking, people who stutters.
Yes, okay.
You know, people who stutters cannot explain themselves clearly how they want.
Right.
So you find like and saying it will be it's frustrating for them, and they in turn get frustrated when other people
That's
can't
true.
understand them.
That's true.
So we need to hear them out
And be
considerate
Correct.
that this person have a list or a stutter.
Right.
Right?
Very good.
So
Yeah.
that was a good one there.
Very good.
There are disturbances in the situation of communicating. A loud noise in the street, in a disco, at a reception, a vacuum cleaner.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
The recipient mishears the message, a slip of the air.
Yeah.
That happens.
It can happen. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you didn't hear an
Yeah.
important
Yes.
aspect of it, and you going off
And then
on
you
a
come in to
tangent.
ask me the same question that I just said.
Right.
That is pissed me
Right.
off too.
Right.
That means you was not listening.
listening. Right. Right.
The recipient connects the message to another person, but shops things, etc. The carrier of the message or the channel is another common cause of miscommunication. Verbal channels like phone or voicemails are better carriers for implicit meaning, while written channels like email or live chat are better for explicit communication.
Okay. So the difference is one to be more elaborate,
Right.
and one for you to be able to articulate your thoughts or to get it written down. Because what happens, you notice in text,
Yes.
people don't hear tone.
No.
So it's hard.
Yeah,
no
so like
matter
if
what
you text
say.
me with
Yeah.
capital, I would say, why is
Why
she
you
shouting?
or anything like that.
Like,
Some people just like
some
capital
people do
letters,
it by mistake too.
and they
Some
do it by
people
mistake.
just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who just typed in capitals like
Yeah.
that. They just like the way it looks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you
Yeah.
shouting? I'm not
Yeah.
shouting. This is
Yeah.
the way I talk.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I think, and that's the reason why whenever something is a little serious, I try not to text, because if I'm not really clearly getting my thoughts out written, I rather just call the person or leave a voice note, like they say, because then the person hears you, or they see your face, or things like that. They can be able to tell or decipher what your emotion is, as opposed to just reading the text. Sometimes some people write long passages and you say okay. It's like, okay, okay.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's that? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't care
yeah,
about what I,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm busy. I
Yeah.
can't really attend to this.
For-
Has nothing to do with you.
You.
It's just everything
Yeah.
to do with me
Like
right
yesterday
now.
when you text me, that was a long text, but
Right.
I was in the party,
Right.
so I say okay.
Right, and that was fine.
But I get
right.
it.
But I
because
also
know-
understand how you,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
that's not you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that sometimes people have expressive ways, and then the other person doesn't communicate in the way,
Yeah.
and because
So they
of
get
that,
upset.
they get upset. That's
Yes.
what I mean. Correct. Right.
Many of our conversations take on counterproductive forms in which each side is merely out to seek the status.
Right.
How to resolve a misunderstanding? Well, one, I could say you call the person or your colleague or co-worker or whatever and say, hey, can I talk to you a moment? And you resolve it face to face. Now,
That's the best.
some conversation is irreconcilable.
Correct.
Right?
You just cannot.
So I just sometimes
work it
you
out.
just don't want to. But
Right.
if I'm in a work environment, I rather I am, because in our job
have
we
to
have
work.
I am, right? So I will respect our workspace, but I don't really have to
Much to say if it's not working.
Yes, right? Or
Gotcha.
what I do is that I say we on the same bus, but we get off on different stops.
Stops. I
So
like that
I don't
analogy.
have to really deal with you like that.
Right.
You don't have my phone number,
Right.
so you don't have to text me or call me. This is a job, and I just keep it moving.
Keep it pushing,
right?
right.
Family members, you cross me once, twice, you get
That's
cut
it.
off. That's it.
Okay.
And I just think that I try to, as best as I can, to resolve it, and if it's not resolvable, just keep it arms like hi,
Next
bye,
it.
and next move on.
Gotcha.
All right.
That's very good.
How do you challenge yourself with misunderstanding?
Well, now I'm better. Before I will hold it in.
Right.
Not say anything because I don't like to offend. I'm a conflict avoider. I was a conflict avoider. I don't like to ruffle feathers. So I keep it all in, and then one little thing happens, and then I blow up. I'm breaking things. I'm cursing people out, and people are like, what? You felt like that about me? Things I've been holding for 40 years. It's like crazy, right?
Right.
So now I've learned to deal with it. If I feel some type of way, I address it immediately, and it feels so good. At first, it was a little nerve-wracking because it's not something I'm used to doing, but now it's just a relief. Like, it's off your shoulders. You're not harboring that resentment. You're not...
Especially, I think, if it's somebody that you are wrong, like a sister-in-law
Right.
or brother-in-law, you might have a misunderstanding.
Yeah, you just
my
clear it
brother-in-law
up.
and I wasn't talking for years.
You see? Yeah.
Because, I took my sister's side, and, I would go by her, but it used to be tension, so I wouldn't stay long. I will
Gotcha.
go, I respect the home, good night, or whatever,
Right.
but I ain't staying long.
Correct.
Because
You
I,
knew the
for my
tension
sister,
was
at the
within.
end of the day, I took my sister's side. You understand? I find he was wrong, what he did to my sister. So I took that to heart, and I decided I'm not speaking right now till I'm ready to speak.
Gotcha.
Now we on better terms.
Okay.
But, sometimes you have to treat people like that.
Now, question: how does that work with your sister not leaving him, and it still being your sister, and you still having a relationship?
Well, I
with your sister?
respect her decision because that's her married husband.
Okay.
So he's a part of our life, but that wasn't my husband, so I don't have to deal
You
with it.
didn't owe that to him.
No.
Gotcha.
I owe
That's
my
interesting.
loyalties to my family at the end of the day.
Okay.
That's how I
interesting.
see it.
Okay.
You understand? And my sister understand. She understand that, my loyalties to her, I would go, but I wouldn't stay long.
Interesting.
10, 15 minutes, go get
Okay.
my food. Hi, how you doing?
Right,
But I
and
ain't
then that's
staying
it.
because I know the tension.
Right.
It was an uncomfortable situation, but through my sister and she invite me, I would have still go and show my
Still
face.
show your face. Now,
Yeah.
did it cause strife between them?
Well, I don't
Because-
know if it did. He had to take it to the Lord in prayer because at the end of the day, it was my sister and family first.
Got you. Okay. Very
You
good.
know?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
personal story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so again, we have to just talk to one another
Yes.
and try to resolve it, right?
Okay.
The root cause of every misunderstanding is a communication problem.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's why I say communication is better.
Key.
You
That's
know,
it. Yep.
as I grow older, I learn to voice my opinion. And I guess since I turned 50, I voice in it.
That's all you do.
I don't care nothing. I voice it, and whether you like it or not,
You take
that's
it or leave it. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because before, when you're growing up and you're in a different stage, you used to care what people say or do or whatever. Now I'm at the point where whatever, right? I
love it.
So, so we can do better. Listen,
Right.
repeat, share, be flexible, say I, not you.
Very important.
Learn
Right.
and pause.
I love it. All of those are really wonderful tactics and strategies that we can use because people don't like to feel accused. They don't like to be accusatory. And they don't like to feel victimized. So it's very important when you're mentioning stuff is okay, we have to work better or something I've noticed is da da da.
Yeah.
Try to stay away from the you.
And I think when the situation arises,
Right.
just nip it in the bud. I'm
Immediately.
sorry if I offended
Correct.
you, or I didn't like what you told me, you
Right.
offended me.
Right.
Things like that, and nip it in the bud. Don't let
Early.
it
Fester.
because true story, I had a friend of 30 something years and she just got jealous for some reason and I couldn't understand it. And I tried to reach out to her to find out, well, where did it go wrong?
Right.
And after a while I say, you know what, I don't have the problem, she have the problem. You understand? So it took us some years, and when my brother died, she reached out to me via text, and I reached back out to her, so we mutual now,
Okay.
right? But we are not best friends like how we were.
Yeah.
You
that once that's
And-
broken, it's just broken.
Yeah,
Right.
when it's broken, and when people break your trust,
it's very
it's
hard
very
to gain
hard
back.
to regain. When people hurt you, you could forgive them, but you don't forget the
Never.
hurt. It come like I cut you with a
Right.
knife. Yes,
Right.
you might get stitched up. You will have this scar here, but you will never forget
Right.
how you get it.
Right.
Right? Like
Right.
I was when I was younger, very young. I was riding bike with my brother and coming down the hill because we live on a hill. I fell down and the bike
Tumble.
spoke. So I have a
Somersault.
cut in my hair from that.
Wow.
So
It's always a reminder.
it's always a reminder that I have this scar and I got it when I was very young. So people don't understand sometimes when you hurt people, it's very hard.
Right.
Especially when you don't resolve the issue.
And
I
it's
mean,
easy
if
to
you don't
open.
want to resolve it, fine.
Right.
But if you care about this person and they worth something to you, I
Make
would
amends
say
to resolve.
make amends.
I
All
agree.
right?
Okay.
And just
Excellent.
let it go. So the second one is mistakes we make daily and how we try to better ourselves.
Okay.
So what mistakes I just try not to make mistakes, but
Right.
I'm trying to think of if I what mistakes I do make.
The thing is with mistakes, I think we have to realize is that one, we're not perfect, so we're going to make them, but don't allow the mistake to set you so far aback that you can't get back on your feet.
Right.
You have to realize that if you mess up, you just brush yourself off and literally start from there. Don't say start all over, because sometimes that also feels too far back.
Right.
Just say start from there. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it says it's normal to feel like you could be doing more when it comes to self-improvement. But being a better person doesn't involve being overly hard on yourself. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The more self-kindness and self-compassion you can foster, the more equipped you'll be to treat those around you the same way. Plus, doing good for others can give you life's deeper sense of meaning. It may even help to improve your physical and mental health. So, number one, cultivate gratitude. You've probably heard it a million times, but keeping a gratitude journal of what you're thankful for can have a big effect on your mindset. Research has shown that incorporating gratitude into your daily life can help ward off stress, improve sleep, and cultivate more positive social relationships. And then the technique would be think about things that you're grateful for.
So can I ask you what thing? Give me just one thing that you're grateful for.
Waking up every single day. We take it for granted. I'm so grateful. Whenever I wake up, I'm like, okay, God, another day. So if it's another day, that means another accomplishment that I can do that I wasn't able to do the day before.
Me too. The first thing when I get up in the morning and I open my eyes, I say, thank you, Lord.
Yes.
Because I could have died in my sleep.
Absolutely.
So I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
So if you guys have
Have
anything
something
you're
grateful.
grateful for, just put it and we'll shout you guys out. Okay.
Okay.
Good night, Ian.
Good night, people. Good night, everybody. All right. So it says greet everyone you meet. So me, doesn't matter. Walking by, someone walks by me. Good morning. Good afternoon. Get in the elevator. Good afternoon, everyone. Customer service. And then, hello. Hey, how are you today? Because what happens, we're trained in society to automatically say hi, how are you, but we're really not listening to the response that the person is actually giving you. Very few people are really waiting for truly, how are you?
Yes.
Suppose the person does not say fine.
Right.
We're so conditioned to say, I'm good, I'm fine.
Well, when you ask me that, I just say I'm good for now. You know why?
Right.
I don't know how I'll feel the next hour.
Right. And it's a real...
Or I'll say I'm blessed and highly favored. That's what I really say.
It's a real emotion, right? So, when
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
With me now, when I get to work in the morning, I'll be like, good morning, people of the world. And they'll be like, Miss Green, how are you doing today? And I'll be like, blessed and high. Or some of them will say, oh, I know already, you're blessed and highly favored.
Yes.
You know? So
it becomes a thing.
It becomes a thing. Even my bigger boss, he'll be like, Miss Green, I know you're blessed and highly favored. Now, why I say it is because I'm blessed because I wake up this morning.
Right.
I'm highly favored because God had favor in my life.
Correct.
So it becomes a habit.
Right.
You know, and going to Christian Cultural Center, Pastor will always say that.
Yes.
So it stuck with me.
Right.
So, you know, that's one
beautiful.
thing. Yeah?
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think when you start to do things, they become a routine. Like we always say, our thoughts become our words, words become actions, actions become habit, habit become your destiny. So you literally can control everything that that have made a habit. If you're a person who's always late, you can make it a habit to be on time. You just have to literally
like
do
it on time with me.
Consistently to be on time. Then you've done it for 14 days straight. It starts to bother you when you're late, right? So it's really important to start to cultivate good habits. That's really what it is.
And Dane is saying she's grateful for big and small mercies.
Oh, very nice.
Nicole is saying she's grateful for the days I'm not in pain.
Oh, yes.
That's amen.
And you know what happens is that we don't realize it until we're in pain. Like I remember something happened, I hurt my back, and I take pride in the fact that I'm so flexible. I couldn't bend down to tie my shoes. I was like, this is serious. So what about people with
like
chronic
my sister,
back pain?
She couldn't walk yesterday.
Yeah.
and she had to take the day off today. And when she went to the hospital, the doctor said that she has arthritis in the two knee, so there's nothing really they could do about it. But she ended up getting an injection, and she spent all day in hospital today. So Betty, I hope you feel better, and I hope you can work this afternoon. Juanita is saying, I'm grateful for family and good friends.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Grateful, Anita. Thank you. Yes. Very important, because when you find miserable people, they don't have those things around them.
No.
And we wonder why they're miserable, but they don't really have a sense of joy. They don't experience it. Or people who can't walk, or people who can't talk, or people who woke up in a car. Like, who knows?
So can you pause for one?
Yes, my love.
One of my coworkers asked me, she was like, why are you so nice? I say, well, niceness in my soul, I can help myself. Because I'm always a happy person. Right. You will never meet me complaining, miserable, talk about the day, talk about bad talk, my bosses who paying me. I don't do things like that. I am just thankful for small mercies. Right. Go ahead.
Very good, very good. Okay. They have something called digital detox. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Unplugging for even a small amount of time can be beneficial to your well-being. The next time you find yourself with nothing to do, hey, step away from the phone for a few hours, right?
So instead, like you today, without your phone, I'm sure you felt lost.
I felt lost. But guess what? I kept pushing. I trusted the process. I was like, I'm not going to have the phone, but I'm still going to drive over here.
Right.
They have my driver's license illegally.
Yeah.
But I was like, God is good. You're going to cover me by the blood of Jesus. I'm going to get to Philippi.
Plenty time I went to work too without my license.
It's crazy. It's crazy how we have not learned to function outside of these things.
Yes.
I was like, no, I know where she lives. I'll get there. I know the door's open because she's consistent.
Yeah, and I text you and I say the door is open.
You see, I know she's consistent. So sometimes you gotta trust it. You just gotta trust it and go with it. Now I'll deal with the phone and all that nonsense when I get home, God willing, and everything will be good. But always put God first, most importantly. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Digital detoxing.
That's the digital detox. I think it's important. Also, social media sometimes makes you feel inadequate.
Yes.
Because everybody puts their best foot forward. No one wants to put the crappy stuff out. So everybody's looking their best, acting their best, being their best, and you here being miserable.
But can I tell you something? Sometimes the background, the bed, not even makeup.
I noticed that, right? And they have all this glam and all the junk is behind you, right? No one wants that. And I remember Tony mentioned that, Tony Joseph. He said, why you don't post, you being depressed this morning? Why you don't post so you didn't brush your teeth or fix your hair or put on your weave and your lace front? Why are you not posting that? Why are you always posting the wonderful thing? And it's true. I think that if people did more of that, we would have a more even-keeled, balanced world.
Yeah.
Because people would not be so envious.
Yeah.
They'll feel like your goals are their goals and could be attainable.
Yes.
And it just makes it so much more fair. And then people will stop hating.
Yes.
Anyway. Number 4, use positive self-talk. So it's easy to get caught up in being overly harsh and critical of your perceived feelings. Remember, it's your personal feelings. So this negative, unproductive self-talk can lower our overall motivation, which explains. Now, if you're constantly telling yourself that you aren't a good person, for example, it's hard to find motivation to take steps towards self-improvement. So it's really important. Always start talking about, always start talking about the good deeds, all of the good things and the blessings, right?
Yes.
Because we all have talents that God has given us, and we want to be able to exemplify those talents without having to do hard work. It shouldn't feel like work because it's natural, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
Sheldon, you're funny.
Sheldon, troublemaker.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Practice random acts of kindness. And I think this is very nice. Pay for a compliment to a stranger. Buy lunch for your colleague. Send a card to a friend. Make a donation to someone in need.
Yes.
And what I do sometimes too, like I buy stuff. Like I will do chips and dips. Or every Tuesday we have taco. We all come together and buy something.
Right.
Or if I see somebody homeless, I will give them like the other night I was coming in and this man was walking down the block with a little boy He's Spanish. He's from Colombia or Venezuela, one of them. And
he had a stroller and a note.
He had a straight.
I gave him $10.
Yeah, I gave him
He found his way all the way to my house.
Really?
Yes. How come I know the story?
I know. So I give him $5.
Well, I gave him $10 because I didn't have change. I wanted to give him $5.
So far he walked?
He walked far. And we live a good 6-7 minutes driving. So that's like a good 15-20 minutes walking.
Yes.
So he had a stroller. He said he doesn't speak English.
Yes.
He said, I get in and I'm from Colombia. My wife is in Colombia. My kids, I'm here hungry. I was like, hold on. I went in. I started gathering all the dollars. I had 9 and then I gave him like 4 quarters. And he said, muchos gracias. I was like, de nada.
So I give him 5.
Okay.
You know, at first I thought he was lost and asking for direction.
Correct. Right. Because he gave the notes.
Yes.
Now... Okay, let's leave it at that.
Yes.
We're going to leave it at that.
So
because if you start playing into it, then you start wondering,
no.
That's interesting that he went from neighborhood to neighborhood. He probably racked up more than we did for the day of work. Right. But that's okay. God is good.
Yeah,
right?
we that's not our job.
It's not our job to figure it out.
Yeah, no.
Not our job.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
So, eat at least one meal mindfully. Right. Because you see I'm munching on pretzels? Not mindfully, right? Not mindful at all.
Okay.
But... when you're caught up in the middle of a hectic day, it's tempting to rush through your meal without listening to your body. Mindful eating gives you a chance to check in with both your physical feelings and your emotions. Pick a meal, even if it's just a sandwich. Take your time. Yeah. How many of you rush to eat?
I know.
Finish a sandwich because you only got 15-minute break.
Yeah, because I just had to be at my desk and eating. You know? And the other day, we had Taco Tuesday. And I was rushing, and we had a busy day. And then I didn't eat taco like till 1:30. I finished work 2:45. So it's like I didn't even enjoy my taco. You know?
Now, I like this idea of mindful eating because they say you should chew your food like 30 times before swallowing. How many people should chew their food 30 times? I don't even think I chew it 3 times. It's terrible, right? Yeah. So, mindful eating, I like that. Get enough sleep. Quan complains all the time. I don't get enough sleep. I'm up at night. I definitely don't. Because...
but you know what I saw the other day? They said the older you get, is the less sleep you
less sleep that you start functioning on. And that's horrible.
I think I function now on 6 or 7. Before I had 8, 9, and 10.
That's like a baby.
No,
that's beautiful.
No. It's like today, right? Came home I went from work. Went to the gym. Come home. Cook some food. Clean up because I don't like to clean on my days off.
Right.
Put out all the clothes. Pack up the car. Right. When I look, I see 7:30. Time to shower. Time to. You understand?
Right. Every minute is occupied by something. So this getting enough sleep, like I suffer from migraines, and I know lack of sleep, maybe lack of water. You know,
Your
all of that is
too.
just tired, dehydrated. I'm constantly tired. I have been taking iron infusions, but that's temporal if you're not living the life that you need to live to make sure that it's ongoing.
Right.
So sleep is important, and it's not just for babies. It's important for adults as well. I like this. Number 8, breathe consciously. So I think it's important to breathe consciously because I met some yoga guru who says that you can even lose weight by breathing properly.
Really?
In the way you inhale and make your stomach go all the way to the back. Bring your navel to your backbone.
Wow.
And then exhale. All of that is you're crunching. I'm like, because I'm lazy. Oh, I'll do my crunches doing that way. Like they have these apps called Lazy Girl Workout. You in the bed doing this. Yeah. I'm like, what kind of... this country is crazy. Of course, I invested in the app. $30 subscription after 30 days. So in my 29th day, I'm going to cancel it after I learn all the...
Thank you for logging in, Mousy. Mousy in the house. Thank you.
All right. But needless to say, that was breathe consciously. It's really important to inhale and exhale.
Deep breathing 101.
So take a moment at the bus stop.
Yes.
Or right here. In line, grocery store. Or before nodding off to sleep to focus on your breathing. Practice even a few minutes a day of deep breathing. Has been shown to jumpstart our body's relaxation response and regulate stress.
Then that's you.
Okay, so it says Rome Tree suggests trying the following technique. Inhale as you normally would. Exhale, making sure you take longer than you did to inhale. Okay, so I just did it short just now.
Yeah,
so I gotta do it over.
Yes.
Wow, that really feels good. I'm
Yeah.
falling asleep. Great. Okay. Repeat the process until you start to feel relaxed. I'm very relaxed. I'm falling asleep. So if you prefer to count, then try breathing in for the count of 4.
Right.
Holding for the count of 7 and exhaling for the count of 8. Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Yes.
It's really
it
good,
makes
you know?
feel a little more
Man,
relaxed.
it feels good, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think we kind of fake do it when people tell us to.
Right.
But when you really do it, it
Yeah.
actually is right. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Clean. Number 9. Clean for 30 minutes. I'm always cleaning.
Me too.
And then, you know, then I'm running late because I'm cleaning. And then I have like OCD. So it's like if I don't finish the cleaning, then it's like I can't function.
Right.
So I have to finish the dishes. If I
Right.
start it, I can't
Yeah.
leave half dishes.
Right.
Or if I'm Swiffering, I gotta Swiffer everywhere.
Right.
I gotta make sure the second or third
Me
time
too.
I
I
put
always
it.
cleaning.
It's terrible. And
My
I
thing is
always
actually,
do it.
Where you cleaning?
Right.
I cleaning.
It always happens when I'm not supposed to be, right? When I'm supposed to be going somewhere, I'm supposed to be going to work. Or I have to pick a different time to do it because I'm
Right.
going to always find something wrong.
Right.
And number 10, forgive yourself and others. That's the key. We don't forgive ourselves enough. We tend to hold on to hurt, and hurt people. So
Yes.
if you do not learn how to forgive, you are going to also hurt somebody.
Yes.
Because you don't realize it, but hurt people do hurt people. And at some given time, it will happen.
Exactly.
I love those.
Those were good. Those were
Excellent.
good. Those were very, very
Excellent.
good. So we hope you all get something. But no, you didn't. You didn't finish. Where
Oh,
you reach
we
up
had
to
a lot.
10.
Oh,
Forgive yourself and others. Okay, 11. Engage in self-care.
Right.
Men, especially.
Take
Go
care
do
of
your
yourself.
nails. Go do your toes. Sometimes you have some not too good looking toes.
Right. And
And
you
dry
know what?
foot.
You don't have to put nail polish. Some men
No,
feel
but
funny
go
about
and do
it.
your mani and
But
petty.
you can still get a mani
Self-care.
and petty without putting on the nail polish.
Yes.
They just buffer it and it looks nice and shiny.
Yeah, so self-care, guys, you can do it. Go take your haircut. Sometimes you want to shave, let the barber, they put the hot cloth and different stuff. You know, self-care. You
Get
can
your
do it.
line up.
And go do your massage too, guys.
Massage is really important.
Be kind to yourself. Stop be beating up yourself. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right.
Just love yourself. God making the image to his likeness.
Yes.
Love upon you. Your nose big, it's big. I know mine's big, so I don't care.
I straighten it out every day. I sleep with this thing like this. No, growing up, I was so self-conscious. I used to take the clothespin, you know, the booty one.
Yeah.
Man, the thing wound up my nose. I don't know what I thought I was doing. My mom was like, "You're African. Leave that nose alone." I don't know what I thought I was doing with that nose
That's
thing.
funny.
The clothespin.
And the bottom line is, it's normal to get caught up in trying to become the best version of yourself, but being a better person starts with treating yourself
Right.
with the same loving kindness as you do to others.
Correct.
This means not judging yourself harshly. When you fall short of your goals and showing yourself patience and compassion on your bad days, keep in mind that there are many ways to become a better person, and those offered here are just a few. Find what feels most joyous and nurturing and try to build them into your daily life.
Very good.
Right?
I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like me, I pamper myself every month. I go do my nails, my toes, my hair had to be on. Self-care. I always taking self-care. You have to.
You have
and
to.
don't say you can't afford it. I fed up hear people say, "Oh, you're
Right.
traveling again? You could afford it. You could afford it too."
Right.
Expedia have layaway. Every price line
Right.
have layaway.
Right.
Everybody, so you can travel and you can do things. So don't think of it. Bills have to pay. We know that, and we have to pay them every month. So you know what? Take
Enjoy
care of
yourself
yourself.
also.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So
Uh-oh, here we go.
all right. So guys, we want to hear you guys on this last one, right? So we did one, which was why do we allow misunderstanding to go on instead of solving the problem? Number 2 was mistakes we make daily and how can we try to better ourselves.
Yeah.
That was what we were just talking about, the 12 steps. And this last one I know will be near and dear to us, and we are going over 9 o'clock because it's going to take us some time.
Yeah.
But this one is important.
Stay on.
What do you do, or how do you handle fathers and mothers that don't provide for their kids when the relationship has ended? And I think this one is a big big one. And I'm going to start by me. I've been a single parent since I've been 18 years old, right? And you know they say a mother can't make a son or whatever, right? But I have to say thank God for my extended family who has always been in my life and who my son had a father figure, right? But, you know, for the parents who married, right? Hi, Jason. I think, and you could talk more about that aspect of it, but I think it's very, very important that a father's impact on the child development, right? Now, I didn't have it, but I had brothers that gave it to me.
Okay.
Right? Now, there's a tremendous advantage that are afforded to children who have the active, involved fathers during childhood and adolescence. And Anthony will talk. Anthony always tell me, you know, I never grew up with my dad. When he was, I think, 10, you could correct me if I wrong. His mother tell him, well, it's time he should meet his dad. And he met his dad, but his mother was really the active person in his life. And he always say he never wanted to be that kind of father to his children. You know?
So he immediately
did something different.
I love that.
In being a mom and dad to his 3 boys.
Wow.
You know?
God bless you.
Yeah. And, you know, he did everything that a father should with his child. Now, in my case, I did the best as I know as a mother raising a boy child. And thanking God that he'll be 33 years in some months and he's doing A-okay, thank you, Jesus, in your name. You understand? But it's very difficult. We have to nurture them. And I started from when he was small. So I always say, when a tree is growing, that is when you have to shape it, mold it.
Water it.
You cannot wait till the tree is grown, then you want to mold these kids. Right? You will have disappointment. Right? But I tried to have a relationship too with my baby daddy. But I was the pusher.
I got you.
Right?
Okay.
And when my son reached a certain age, he was like, Ma, don't call my dad again. And then when he reached out to his father, the first thing his father asked him for was money. And he said, this man never even mind me, but that's the first thing. So he cut his father off. I can't give him wrong. He's an adult. He can do whatever he wants. But what I'm saying is that he never had that impact, and that's all the reflection he has about his dad. He reached a grown person. When he was younger, he never did anything for him. And when he's adult now, all you could ask for is money. Or, you know, some fathers will say, oh, that's my child. She's a nurse. She's a doctor. This, that.
They want
and
the
he didn't do
accolades.
anything towards that.
Correct.
All right?
Correct.
So, go ahead.
Okay. This hits home for me because I was married before for 20 years. And then I got into a 13-year dead-end relationship. And had 2 children by it. Now, my 2 girls, my oldest girls, their father is very much in their lives. In fact, my 2 girls live in California with their father and new stepmother and half brother. Now, my second relationship, the 2 kids that I had, plus I have a stepdaughter from that relationship, he was already non-impactful, but because of my need for wanting family, making sure that I keep my status as a woman, you know, with that lives at home with the father of her children and this and that, I think I held on to something that was never really truly ever whole.
Right.
But that was my that was my justification, even though I was in denial, basically.
So can I ask you, what caused you to, well, we know the guilt. We know that you had a failed marriage before, so you didn't want probably that for the second one.
Correct.
So you stayed in this unhealthy relationship.
Right.
That you're seeing it wasn't good, but you're still stuck there. Now, you are not the only woman, eh?
Right.
There are
a lot of
millions of women out there who are in unhealthy relationships, but they're holding on to a thread.
A thread.
All right?
Terrible.
But I want to say congratulations to you that you finally see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Okay, good. So now, the impact that he has on my children is null and void. He just cut us off. I feel like he used to come around because of me, and now that I'm no longer there, he doesn't come around.
Good night, Hayden. Good
He
night,
doesn't
Callie.
come around. Months will go by. He doesn't call his kids. Mind you, he works at the 68th precinct or 78th precinct by the Barclays Center.
He's just a
It's not like
deadbeat.
as if he's in Iraq. Like, I'm like, you're not in Iraq, dude. How come we just hearing from you after 3 months? Like, you know, but it just shows that we were never his priority.
Right.
You know, so it impacts my children because now they're like looking to Quan as like a father figure.
Right.
And that's fine. You know, God willing, everything works out. We get married and this and that. But at the same time, it's like I'm not pushing that relationship. They are doing it on their own because children, they see, when they see good people or they know instinctually, they gravitate towards them. And it's like, it's sorrowful, but I'm very happy because I'm like, wow, they have a biological father who can be there for them and chooses not to. And here's somebody who loves me and is extending that love to my children. So I just appreciate the fact that I have that around for this time. And I really worry about my black son, raising a black son as a single mom.
I think you'll be fine because I raised one and he's doing very good.
Well.
You know, as I said again, shout out to all the single parents who don't have unresolved issues and they do co-parenting because you have kids and you're in the child's life, right? But as a single mom, I could speak for myself, it is hard work. There are many nights I cried. I cried because I was like, Lord, what kind of man it is I put myself with?
Right.
You know, when I was younger, I was like, you know, is this happening to me?
Right.
You know, look at the person I choose because that was just poor choice. I'm happy that I have a child. I never regretted that.
Right.
I just wish if my situation could have been different.
Right.
But it wasn't. And thank God, it is what it is. My son had an extended family. So that wasn't like a void that he never had a father figure. He had my father when he was alive. He had my 9 brothers.
Wow. That's
you understand? So a village raised my son.
Wow.
I guess that is why he is the way how he is today. You know? But, Philia, you could do it. Consistency.
Okay.
Say what you mean what you say.
Okay.
Reward your children with prizes. Don't give them everything they ask for. I have one child and trust me, he will tell you, my mother never spoiled me. He used to have to work to earn things when he wants stuff. Okay, this is your allowance, you're going to save your allowance to get it. I could have bought it for him, but I said no. I didn't want to create a monster because somebody, if I die today or tomorrow, somebody would have to deal with it. So you want to train them well.
Okay.
Train them to know Christ.
Right. Yes.
You're going to church, carry them.
Okay.
You know, the foundation.
Right.
Right? And
Very
once
important.
they get that foundation,
be good.
it don't leave them when they grow older.
Right.
You understand?
Thank you for that advice.
So you will be fine.
Thank you.
There are other single mothers here. Dane, I know, doing a fantastic job with her 3.
Wow, look at that.
You
Dane.
understand?
Enough
She has her
respect.
challenging times too. We all do.
Right.
You know, but they are blessing and they didn't ask to come here. It was a choice between me and his father and he ended up here. He didn't ask to come.
Right.
So he shouldn't have no guilt or anything. I just tried the best and to protect him as a mom.
Right.
And I'm still a protector of him. You understand? So you'll be fine.
Thank you. Thank
You will be fine.
Amen.
But fathers, those fathers who doesn't want to be in the children's life because they have some built up resentment for the
Against
mother.
the mothers, right.
They need to get over it.
Right.
It's not you suffering, it's your child suffering.
Right.
The children that suffer.
Right.
In a marriage, when they divorce, the children suffer.
Right. You don't
children
divorce the
take
children.
The children takes it
Right.
on. You still have to co-parent. Remember, these people in your life forever.
They are.
They have a child.
Right.
They are birthmark. You ever
Yeah.
think of it? They are growing mold.
My daughters are 23 and 19, and I still have a relationship with their father. I go to California. I stay in his house with his wife and kids.
Co-parent.
It's co-parent. I was like, I don't want him. Like, it's not a
Right,
a
but
problem.
some people
Like,
don't study like you. Though.
Right.
Some people don't say it like you.
Right.
Some people have built up resentment. I hate your dad. Your dad is this. Your mom is this. You know,
Not
and
at
things
all.
like that.
Right.
So then the child now have to pick side. When they buy mommy, you have to
They
think.
have
When
to
they buy
act
daddy,
away.
think. When they go there,
Right.
what your mother doing? When they go there, where your father? Have
Right.
the children confused. So
Right.
now
Like ping pongs.
then they learn to lie young.
That's when they start
They
lying.
start to lie young
Exactly.
because they want to protect either or.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So parents just have to be
mindful
of these things, right?
Right.
And father's involvement is related to positive child health outcomes in infants, such as improved weight gains in puerperal infants and improve breastfeeding rates, right? Father's involvement using the authoritative parenting, loving with clear boundaries and expectation, leads to better emotional, academic, social, and behavioral outcome for the children.
I agree. That's beautiful. Authoritative. So we talked about parenting long before. Authoritative is giving rules and strict guidelines, but allowing them to still be autonomous. I think that's kind of more of a better parenting style, because too strict, you end up getting a rogue, and too permissive, you get somebody who doesn't respect you. So it's a good
Carlene is
middle
saying
ground.
Kwan is such a wonderful and pleasant guy. Kudos to your kids for having him in their life.
Yes,
and I would say
thank
that
you,
because
Colleen.
I've seen it firsthand too.
Yes.
You know, and not
Yes,
every man you go with is a father figure.
Correct. I
Not
agree.
every man you will introduce your children to unless you know is that something concrete. And I
Correct.
always tell younger parents this too. If you have to take 10 men, you don't take them in front of your children.
Right.
You respect them, you protect them.
Right.
You understand? Until you find that person that you would like to build a future with for the children. You understand? We still have to be protected.
I did that the second time, and he turned out to be horrible, right? But we had kids together, so it was hard because I'm already now a mother to his children,
right?
And it's like, damn, like he sucks.
But then you know circumstances again. You didn't ask to be in that circumstances, so don't beat up yourself about it. It was just a bad deal,
right?
You know, it's like a house. You're building a house. You have first floor, second floor, third floor. Right? So your first floor, you're there hanging. Second floor, you're in the meantime. And the third floor is your living.
Right.
You understand? So you have different floors in your life.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm reaching my third floor.
Right.
Okay.
So your third floor, then your foundation,
It's all good.
It's all good.
Okay.
Right? Children who feels a closeness to their fathers are twice likely as those who do not to enter college or find stable employment after high school. 75% less likely to have a teen birth, 80% less likely to spend time in jail, and half as likely to experience multiple depression symptoms.
Those are some really interesting statistics.
Yes.
Daddies, what y'all doing? Like, you hear these statistics? I mean, I think the interesting thing about that is that it shows that having a father around, father figure, is important, because it's
put away your personal
feelings and just be
if
there.
you have to just fake it for the children, I would say do it
if you need to,
you
right?
know?
I do think it's important in the meantime to take care of yourself, because if you're unhappy, then the child is ultimately unhappy, but you still got to think about the children.
And I want to say to Donata, who's on last 2 weeks, I had the pleasure of meeting her daughter, and you know, she and her husband separated, but they co-parent so well. And you know, I commended her and I say, you know, whatever you're doing, continue, because let me tell you, the child well mannered, she's bright for her age, you know, and you know, she have both parents, right? And whatever they have, they put that aside and she's the focus. So I love that with parents, when they put the children
as a focus.
Whatever unresolved issues you have, try not to bring it for the kids. You know, they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Fathers occupy a critical role in a child's development. Fathers absent hinders development from early infancy through childhood and into adulthood. The psychologist's harm of fathers absent experience during childhood persists throughout the life course. The quality of the father-child relationship matters more than the specific amount of hours spent together. Non-resident fathers can have positive effect on children's social and emotional well-being, as well as academic achievement and behavioral adjustment. Right?
Yeah, I think that's very important. Yep.
High levels of fathers' involvement are correlated with higher levels of sociability. confidence, and self-confidence in children. Children with involved fathers are less likely to act out in school or engage in risky behaviors as adolescents.
So they don't want to disappoint daddy.
Right. Or they don't want to
disrespect or disrespect
mommy.
themselves. Right. Exactly.
And I want to say kudos to the mothers who's still going to school, who's working, who's a single parent,
taking care of the
to
kids.
all the fathers who are out there still going
doing
to
their
school
thing too,
online.
We're not bashing
and you just trying to provide a better life for your child. So we want to say, this touched my heart in the sense that it don't have to be where there is animosity.
No. Try to work it out. Put aside your emotions, your pride specifically, and try to reason it out, because at some point you guys loved each other, right? For a reason. So don't lose sight of what that was, and you produced a beautiful child or children from it. Use that as your focus to help rebuild.
Children with active involved fathers are 43% more likely to earn A's in school, and 33% less is likely to repeat a grade than those without engaged dads.
Very interesting.
Again, the encouragement of a father and a mother. That's why they say mothers and fathers could have disagreement, but not in front of the kids. Step away and discuss it, or make a phone call, or don't talk in front of the kids and let them see that you're upset about something. Because that affects them. They think children don't be looking, but they do.
And then they start feeling like they have to pick sides as well. So no need to put them through that.
Father's engagement reduces the frequency of behavioral problems in boys, while decreasing the delinquency and economic disadvantage in low income families.
Right. I see that.
Right? Father's engagement reduces psychology program and rates of depression in young women. Overall, the impact of fathers and father figures can make a substantial, just as there are many positive aspects of father's involvement. The effect of father's absence can be determined as well. Father absence. In adolescence, the implication of fatherless homes are incredible, as these children are more likely to experience the effect of poverty. Former President George W. Bush even addressed the issue while in office, stating, "Over the past 4 decades, fatherlessness has emerged as one of our greatest social problems. We know that children who grow up with the absent fathers can suffer lasting damage. They are more likely to end up in poverty or drop out of school. True. Become addicts to drugs. True. Have children out of wedlock. True. Or end up in prison. True. Fatherless is not the only cause of these things, but our nation must recognize its important factor."
Very important.
All this is true.
100% true. And it's statistical, it's proven, and there's research behind it. So if you don't agree with it because of your own experiences, it's still true.
Anthony is saying, "I never look at my role as a good father. I was a great parent."
Okay.
I think so
that's good too. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because I think what happens is that it becomes individualized attention, right?
Yes.
But when you say parent, you kind of relinquish the idea that there was some type of higher help a little bit. So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to read from here?
Okay, sure. All right. So narratively speaking, many individuals can attest to the fact that the lasting impact of a father in a child's life cannot be denied. Many would admit that they have struggled with feelings of abandonment and low self-esteem due to the lack of father's love in their lives. Some have turned to drugs, alcohol, risky sexual activities, unhealthy relationships, or other destructive behaviors that numb the pain nevertheless. Now, although the absence of their father is not an isolated risk factor, it does definitely take a toll on the development of the children. This is important to take note, as many would argue that one parental role is more significant than the other. That is simply not true. According to the Psychology Today, researchers have found that these narrative must be true. The results of father absence on children are nothing short of disastrous along numbers of dimensions. Behavior problems. Fatherless children have more difficulties with social adjustments and are more likely to report problems with friendships and manifest behavior problems.
Right.
And truancy and poor academic performance. 71% or higher dropouts are fatherless.
Yes.
Wow. Fatherless children have more trouble academically, soaring poorly on tests or reading, math, and thinking skills.
Yes.
That is just so incredible, that statistic, because if fathers knew that they had to be more accountable, there would be less men in jail, less men committing crimes, more men in school, more men working. I mean, it's the idea that there's nobody to set a role, to be a role model. I think that's why. And it doesn't mean that if you're not a role model, mean that your kid does not turn out right. It just means that you have to say, hey, I don't want to be anything like my father, so I'm going to end up doing this. That inadvertently should make you a better person.
I like this one.
Okay.
Read that one.
This one is delinquency and youth crime, including violent crimes. 85% of youth in prison have an absent father. Fatherless children are more likely to offend and go to jail as adults.
For real, because they're repeat offenders.
Correct.
The thing that dies the life that they grew up knowing,
right.
And they continue to do another crime and end back up there. So they feel comfortable behind bars. And mine have used like that.
Wow. And they feel that they don't have to work for anything. They get cable.
Right.
They get
everything. They even get paid in jail now.
The bread is not that hard, as they say. They're getting college education from there.
They do the GED.
Correct. So I think it's no longer a hellhole. It's like a weird kind of resort that they feel. So that's a problem if they don't see it as a bad repercussion.
Auntie Julie, happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Love you, Auntie Julie. Okay.
All right, promiscuity, that means having a lot of sex.
Yes.
And teen pregnancy. Fatherless children are more likely to experience problems with sexual health, including a greater likelihood of having intercourse before the age of 16.
Yep.
Foregoing contraception during first intercourse, becoming teenage parents, and contracting sexually transmitted infection. Girls manifest an object hunger for males and in experiencing the emotional loss of their fathers egocentrically as a rejection of them, become susceptible to exploitation by adult men.
Yes.
So this is daddy issues.
Yes.
Inadvertently.
Yeah.
Because when women have daddy issues, they either look to other men to give them what they did not receive, or they like the older men because it gives the feeling of security.
Right.
But then older men prey on it because they know that this is a need in codependency, and then they end up mistreating them sometimes or misusing them in the process. So it's really important to watch the signs and do something about it if you have a friend.
Anthony is saying when the school had meetings, it was parent-teacher meeting, not father or mother meeting. So you had a larger role.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I think the schools need to promote fatherhood more. They need to have father-daughter, father-son dances and events, because you're right. I think fathers feel marginalized in society because society has made women the superpower.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And sometimes we forget that there are a lot of men who are also just as good.
Yes.
Yeah. So my apologies for the world to men.
Yes.
Because not all of you deserve, actually no one deserves badgering, even if you've done wrong. You have to leave it to God.
Exactly.
But I think that it's important that people start to reshape that focus and change our perspective, because you are what you think.
Yes.
So, all right.
Drugs and alcohol abuse. Fatherless children are more likely to smoke, drink alcohol, and abuse drugs in childhood and adulthood. That is correct.
Right.
Homelessness. 90% of the runaway children have an absent father.
Right.
It's true.
It's very true.
It's true.
Right.
You know, we see that every day.
Right.
Exploitation and abuse. Fatherless children are at greater risk of suffering physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, being 5 times more likely to have experienced physical abuse and emotional maltreatment, with 100 times higher risk of fatal abuse. A recent study report that preschool not living with both of their biological parents are 40 times more likely to be sexually abused.
So sad.
That's
astronomical. That number is so high. And of course, it's better two parents are watching instead of one.
Yeah.
But I think the male presence sometimes will void off predators, sexual predators, family members that might be
and then
afraid.
A father might tend to be more stricter with the daughters,
Correct.
like, you know,
No
dating,
no
thing.
blah blah blah, no sitting on people's laps, no hanging out late, no, you know, like spending nights out.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. Plus, I think people are less susceptible to do harm to your children when the father's around.
But let me ask you, what about a child now? Let's say for scenario, single parent, and you have a teenage daughter. Let's say this teenage girl maybe like 14, and she's doing all these erotic things. How do you think, and the father now, he fed up himself, like he gave up. How do you think he should deal with that? Or the parent? What do you think in the circumstances?
I think family counseling
Right.
is the best thing, because a family therapist would not be biased. If you use any family member, they'll be biased either against the parent, or against the mom or the father, or even for the child. So it's an unfair balance, I think. But a family therapist, the person doesn't know you, they don't know your history, they're just hearing a story, and they're giving you tools to figure it out.
Anthony is saying, my father was an alcoholic, so I didn't drink until I was old enough to handle it, and I don't drink alone.
Okay. Oh.
So from the experience of his father being that. And again, as I say, Anthony, I was telling him that, you know, you grew up, you saw your father at a later age, and you didn't want to repeat the mistakes that he did in your life. So that's why you are a great parent to these boys.
Yes, Mr. Travis.
And,
thank you.
you know, it have really good dads out there.
A lot of excellent fathers, yeah.
A lot of, you know. And again, as we say, we don't want you guys to grow up. I would say grow up.
Right. Right.
Your kid need you.
They need you.
The kids need both
At
parents.
all ages, guys. Not just when they're young, or not just when they're old.
When
they
they're
play
graduating,
basketball.
they need you there. When they
Correct.
want to learn to drive, you need to
Same
be there
guy.
to do that. When they want to get, you know, an ID, you know, take them. Stop be letting the mom do everything.
Right.
You know, show them that you care, because they'll say, my dad never came. I can't remember this. My father never take me to the park.
Correct.
You know, different things like that.
Even the barbershop, I have to take my damn son to.
Yeah.
That's so terrible. Come on, man. What I know?
Yeah.
I'm saying fade. He said, what? Okay, line, shape. Oh, like, you know, I don't know. I got to be Googling stuff. But you're right. Fathers first.
Yeah. Physical health problems, mental disorder, life chances as an adult fatherless children are more likely to experience unemployment, have low income, remain on social assistance, and experience homelessness. There's a lot of homeless people.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yes.
And it's targeted, so we got to really, really watch ourselves.
Yeah. Future relationship, fathers, absent children tends to enter partnership early and are more likely to divorce and dissolve their cohabiting unions, and are more likely to have children outside their marriage or outside any partnership. Yeah, because the younger girls now is first baby daddy, second baby daddy, third baby daddy, and they go down the list.
Right.
Try to break the cycle. That's what we're trying to say. Young mothers.
Curses, break
yes.
Right.
Mortality, fatherless children are more likely to die as children and live in an average for 4 years less over the lifespan. Tips for dads. Dads, it's vital that you make every effort to become actively involved in your child's life, whether you live in the same house as them or not. Here are some great ways to create healthy, positive engagement with your children. Speak positively to and about their mothers. It is so important to be on the same page as their mothers about what your desired role should be and what that will look like. This is especially important in situations where the relationship is severed through divorce or separation. Be clear. Be clear.
Intentional.
And respect. Emphasizing your desires to be involved, right? To be an involved father to your children. Same thing we are saying.
Right.
Also speak positively about her in front of your children.
Yeah.
Same thing we say.
Let them hear.
You may have your disagreements at times, but your child needs to know that you respect their mother.
Correct. Yeah.
They are just as much her child as theirs. Speaking poorly of their mother will only damage your relationship with them. Create a vision for fatherhood engagement. 20 years from now, what you do, hope your children say about you as a father. What you do, they hope they say, answering the question that is clearly, your sense of purpose as a dad, and guide you in important decision with your own children. How can you get there? Be the bridge between your own father and your children. Whether or not you look to your father or mother as a model for parenting, the legacy of parents, for better or for worse, lives inside each of us. This is why it's important to explore and understand your family legacy, particularly your relationship with your father. How will you pass on the positive aspect of your relationship with your father to your own children? How will you avoid repeating the negative aspect of your relationship with your father? Establish a ritual dad time. One way to spend positive time with your children regularly is to create a ritual dad time. This is not meant to replace or more frequent rituals like taking your kids to school or reading them at bedtime. Get together as a father, child, and at least once a month, minimally, for at least 2 hours, and with only one child at a time. This may be difficult for large families, but it's essential for building a one-on-one relationship.
Amen. Wow.
Choose an activity you both agree on. Sports.
Of course, yeah.
You may allow your children to choose, alternate, or decide. We do recommend excessive decision except in case of extreme resistance. Make sure you talk during your time together, right? Yeah. Using action talk, that is shooting basket or playing video games.
Right.
Don't always need to be a distraction.
Correct.
Be consistent, right? The ritual doesn't have to be on the same day each month, but make sure it happens so your child can count on you.
Right.
Don't say I'm picking you up and you ain't come.
Never coming. Right.
Say what you mean what you say.
And I think for me, because my parents were like that, I became the parent who got my kids everything. No matter what they ask, I will always do it, because it was an overcompensation, because I didn't want to be that kind of parent. But I didn't find a delicate balance because of it. So,
right. Know your children. Every child craves the interest, attention, and presence of their primary caregivers. They need you to know who they are as unique individuals, not as vessels of our own grand plan or unrealized dreams. By becoming an expert about your child's life, knowing what a certain look of their face means, the best way to get them to sleep, who their friends are, what they are doing in school, what causes them stress. You send a clear and powerful message that they are worthy of your time, interest, and attention. And the last one is be known by your children. Letting your children know more about you through storytelling is a great way to strengthen your bond.
Right.
What were you like at your child age? What mistakes you made? How did you handle embarrassment? Where were your friends or your parents like? Not only do stories harmonize you and give children a sense of where they come from, but they can also be an effective way to initiate meaningful dialogue with your child.
You know what? I think those are really good points, because I think it gives us a good guideline so that people who are struggling, it's like really there, it's apparent, and it shows them what they need to do. So,
again, you can Google anything really you want to know. Just go to Google, pull it up, and Google have an answer for everything.
Right.
There's
no reason to be in the dark. Not anymore.
No reason.
We're not in the dark ages.
No reason to be in the dark. So I think our topics for tonight was good.
I think they were good. They were definitely very, very, very well thought out.
Yeah.
And I think they were important.
And I'll just mention it again for the ones who now log in. Hi, good night, June.
Good night.
Hi, Keisha. Number one topic we spoke about tonight, why do we allow misunderstanding to go instead of solving the problem?
Right.
Number two was mistakes we make daily and how do we try to better ourselves?
Yes, self-improvement.
And number three was what do you do or how you handle fathers and mothers that don't provide for their kids when the relationship has ended.
Yes.
Right?
Very
And two, I would end it by saying, not because you're paying child support, you don't want to give your child anything else.
They looking
You
at it
understand?
as one or the
They're
other,
looking-
time or
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Like your
you
kid
only
is
giving
some
like
game.
$100
Right,
or $150 depend on
Right.
your salary. That can feed, clothe that child. Maybe what you get $100 and something a week. Okay, let me say $600-$700 a month. Still, these children growing, they're eating. They have to wear shoes, clothes, participate.
And they have other activities that they partake in.
Yeah.
Right.
They have extracurriculum activities. Help pay half.
Right.
You do one, you pay
person.
this month, you pay the other one. Filing taxes.
Yes.
You file this year, you
The
file
other
that
one,
year.
right.
You
Share the
understand?
responsibility.
Share the responsibility and just don't leave it up for one person to really feel the brunt of the problem.
I agree, 100%.
You have anything to add in closing?
No, I think that this, I just want to say that I think these topics are really important. They definitely touch home because I have experienced them and I'm seeing them firsthand, the impact that it has on my own children.
Right.
And as I said, I'm always keeping them in prayer and just making sure that the male figures that are around them are ones that are going to be purposeful and God-led, most importantly. So
Kalina says split everything down the middle.
that's very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So because it takes away too from the other one. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can still live a little.
Correct.
You can still do a little self-care.
Right.
So what we're saying is stop being selfish.
Yes.
Stop having